When I opened my eyes, I didn't just see a ceiling or the harsh white lights of the recovery room. I saw him. His face was the first thing I remember after the darkness. Calm eyes, tired maybe, but kind. The kind of eyes that make you believe, even for a second, that everything is going to be okay. I was still half dazed, my body numb from anesthesia, my lips dry. But even through the fog, I remember thinking, he saved me. And something deep inside me whispered, don't forget him. First, I thought it was the medication. That strange warmth spreading through me whenever I remembered his voice. But it wasn't. Days passed, and every time he entered the room, something in me shifted. Like my heart learned a new rhythm, one that only existed when he was near. But let me go back to the beginning, before I met him, before the surgery, before I learned what it truly meant to feel alive inside a hospital room. It all started 2 months earlier. A rainy afternoon, the kind that makes you want to stay home forever. I was walking back from work when the world turned upside down, literally. A flash of headlights, the screech of tires, and then pain. Just pain, sharp and merciless. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed, my body wrapped in bandages and fear. My mother's eyes were red from crying, and the smell of antiseptic clung to the air like it wanted to stay forever. The doctors said I had internal bleeding, that I needed surgery, that it was complicated. I heard words like risk and stability and miracle, but all I could think was, will I ever walk again? Will I ever feel normal again? Fear does strange things to people. It makes you small. It makes time move slower. Every minute felt like an hour. And then, on the second day, he walked in. Dr. Lee. That was his name. He looked younger than most surgeons I'd seen before, maybe in his late 30s. He had the kind of face you wouldn't easily forget. Sharp jawline, dark hair slightly tousled, as if he didn't have time to care about appearances. His voice was calm, measured. You must be Emma, he said, looking over my chart. We're going to take good care of you. Something in the way he said we made me feel less alone. I nodded, unable to say much. My throat was dry, but my heart was loud, so loud it drowned the machines around me. He smiled once briefly before turning to my mother. He spoke with quiet authority, reassuring her in a way that felt genuine. Not rehearsed, not detached. When he left, I realized I was still watching the door long after it closed. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing his voice in my head. I told myself it was just gratitude. He was going to perform the surgery that might save my life. Of course, I would think about him. But the truth was, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Something dangerously close to hope. The morning of the surgery came faster than I expected. The nurses prepped me, their faces hidden behind masks, their voices muffled by routine. And then he appeared again, dressed in blue scrubs, surgical cap, gloves. His eyes met mine through the mask, and for a second it was like the whole room disappeared. You'll be asleep before you know it, he said softly. I'll see you when you wake up. When I woke up, he kept his promise. The surgery was a success. I heard it before I could speak it. My mother told me later that Dr. Lee stayed longer than he needed to after the operation, checking my vitals himself, making sure everything was perfect. He's very dedicated, she said. I nodded, but I knew there was something more. I had felt it. There was a gentleness in the way he held my hand before the anesthesia took me. A quiet pause, like he wanted to say something but didn't. The days that followed were a blur of painkillers, therapy, and endless nights staring at the ceiling. But he always came back. Every morning he'd knock twice before entering. Sometimes we'd only exchange a few words. Sometimes he'd stay a little longer than necessary. I learned to read his eyes, the slight softening when I smiled, the way he tried to hide it by adjusting the monitor or pretending to check my chart again. He wasn't supposed to make me feel safe. Doctors weren't supposed to make their patients dream, but I did. Every night. I started looking forward to his visits more than the medication. The pain didn't matter as much when he was there. Once I asked him how long I would have to stay in the hospital. Maybe 2 more weeks, he said, writing notes on my chart. But you're healing fast. Because of you? I said before I could stop myself. He paused. His eyes met mine, and for the first time his expression faltered. Because of you, he replied quietly. You're stronger than you think. That night I cried, not from pain but from something else. Something that scared me more than the accident itself. I was falling in love with the man who had cut me open, stitched me back together, and now somehow owned a part of my heart too. The next few days I tried to hide it. I kept my words light, my tone neutral. But emotions have a way of leaking through cracks you don't see. One afternoon while he was checking my stitches, his hand brushed my arm. Just a second, but my breath caught. I saw it in his eyes too. The moment stretched between us, silent but loud in meaning. He pulled his hand away quickly, clearing his throat. "Everything looks fine," he said, but his voice was different. Lower. Uneven. After he left, I whispered to the empty room. "No, it's not fine." I wanted to tell him everything. That he made me feel alive again. That I dreamed of him walking beside me outside this hospital, not as my doctor, but as something more. But how could I? He was bound by rules, by ethics, by everything that made him the kind of man I respected. Loving him was like standing at the edge of a cliff. One step closer and I'd fall. One night, when the pain in my abdomen was too much to bear, I called the nurse. But instead of sending her, he came. Maybe it was coincidence, maybe not. He checked the monitor, adjusted the 4, and then looked at me. "Does it hurt much?" "Yes," I whispered. He hesitated, then sat on the edge of my bed. His voice softened. "It's okay to be scared." I didn't know where the words came from, but they escaped anyway. "I'm not scared of the pain. I'm scared of feeling too much." He froze. His eyes locked on mine, searching for meaning. The silence that followed was heavier than the machines around us. Finally, he stood up, stepping back. "Try to rest," he said. But his tone had changed, gentler, conflicted. After that night, things shifted. He visited less often. When he did, his words were short, his eyes distant. I told myself I imagined the connection. Maybe I'd confused kindness with something else. But I knew what I felt. You can't mistake that kind of pull. The nurses started saying I was improving faster than expected. I should have been happy. But each day brought me closer to leaving. And the thought of walking out of that hospital without ever seeing him again felt like losing something I hadn't even had the chance to hold. Then came the day of my discharge. He didn't come in the morning or the afternoon. I kept waiting, hoping he'd appear just once more. I told myself he was busy, that doctors have dozens of patients, that I was just another name on a chart. But when the nurse handed me the paperwork, I couldn't stop the tears from falling. It felt like the ending of a story that never began. I was packing my things when the door opened. He stood there, his expression unreadable. For a second, neither of us spoke. Then he walked closer, stopping beside my bed. "You're being discharged," he said softly. "That's good news." "I guess it is," I replied, forcing a smile. He hesitated, his gaze flickering to the floor, then back to me. "I wanted to say," he paused, "you were a brave patient. Not everyone recovers this quickly. You did great." "Because I had a good doctor," I said. He smiled faintly. "You should take care of yourself, Emma." The way he said my name, quiet, deliberate, made my chest ache. I nodded, biting my lip. "And you should get some rest. You look exhausted." He chuckled softly. "Occupational hazard." Then silence again. That heavy, unspoken kind of silence. When he turned to leave, something inside me broke. The words slipped out before I could stop them. "Wait." He froze. I took a shaky breath. "I just wanted to say thank you. For saving my life. For everything." He nodded slowly. "It's my job." "No," I whispered. "You did more than your job." His eyes softened, but his voice stayed steady. "Take care, Emma." And then he walked out, leaving the room and a part of me behind. That night, back home, I lay in my bed surrounded by familiar walls that suddenly felt foreign. The silence was louder than the machines had been. I kept replaying our moments, the glance, the touch, the words we didn't say. I told myself it was over, that it was foolish, impossible. But every time I closed my eyes, I saw his. Weeks passed. My body healed faster than I expected, but my heart didn't. Every morning, I woke up hoping to see his name on a message, an email, anything. I even looked up the hospital website once just to see his photo on the staff list. I told myself it was harmless. Just curiosity. But deep down I knew it wasn't. And then one day, fate decided to play its cruel game again. It happened on a Tuesday. I remember because Tuesdays had become my least favorite day, the kind of day that felt endless and empty. My mother insisted I go with her to a follow-up appointment. I didn't know he'd be there. I didn't even think about it. The hospital had turned into a memory I tried to avoid. The smell of disinfectant, the echo of footsteps in the hallway, everything brought him back. But that day, as we walked through the corridor, my chest tightened. I heard his voice before I saw him. Calm, precise, unmistakable. He was speaking to another patient down the hall. I froze. My heart forgot how to beat properly. My mother was talking, but her words were distant, muffled by the sound of my pulse in my ears. He turned. Our eyes met for the first time in months. It was like time folded in on itself. For a second, neither of us moved. I could see surprise in his face, then hesitation, then something softer, something I recognized too well. He excused himself from the nurse and walked toward me slowly, as if afraid I'd disappear if he got too close. "Emma," he said quietly, "you look well." "I am," I managed, though my voice trembled. "Thanks to you." He smiled faintly, and the familiar warmth rushed through me again, uninvited. For a moment it felt like we were back in that hospital room, two people sharing something forbidden in silence. But this time, there were no IVs or hospital gowns between us. Just the raw tension of everything unspoken. He looked down for a second, then back at me. "How have you been recovering?" "I'm fine," I said, then paused. "Physically, at least." He seemed to understand what I meant. "That's good," he said after a moment. "You're stronger than you think." The same words he had said months ago. And just like before, they hit me in a place I didn't know still hurt. My mother called my name, breaking the silence. He took a step back, as if remembering who we were supposed to be, doctor and former patient. "It was good to see you," he said softly. "You too," I whispered. And then he was gone again. But fate wasn't done with us. A week later, I got a call from the hospital. They said one of my test results showed a minor complication. Nothing serious, just something they wanted to recheck. I didn't want to go back. I tried to convince myself another doctor could handle it. But when they mentioned his name, Dr. Lee, something inside me gave up resisting. When I saw him again, he looked tired, like he hadn't slept much. His eyes had that same calm sadness I remembered. He checked the scans, explained the details carefully, but there was a hesitation in his voice, like words caught behind a wall. When he finished, I asked, "Are you sure you're okay?" He blinked, surprised. "Me?" I nodded. "You look like you've been carrying the weight of the world." He chuckled quietly. "Occupational hazard, remember?" I smiled faintly. "You used to say that." He sighed. "You remember too much." "Maybe," I said softly. "Or maybe I just remember you." The silence after that was thick. "Dangerous." He set the clipboard down and leaned against the counter. His voice dropped, low and hesitant. "Emma, we can't." "I know," I interrupted. "We can't. You're a doctor. I'm your former patient. I know every reason why this is wrong. Then why does it still feel?" He stopped himself, searching for the right word. "Alive," I offered. He looked at me, then really looked. "Yes, alive." For a long time, neither of us said anything. The hum of the machines filled the space between us. And then, as if pulled by gravity, he took a step closer. Just one. Close enough for me to see the flicker of conflict in his eyes. "I thought about you," he whispered. My breath caught. "When?" He smiled sadly. "Too often." I wanted to touch him, to remind myself that he was real, not just a dream stitched together from memories. But I didn't move. Neither did he. It was as if we were both standing on the edge of a line neither of us dared to cross. Finally, he straightened, his professional mask sliding back into place. "You're fine, Emma," he said quietly. "Your body's healing perfectly." And just like that, the moment was gone. I should have left it there. But I didn't. I started volunteering at the hospital 2 weeks later. I told myself it was coincidence, that I wanted to give back, to help others. But deep down I knew. I wanted to see him again. To feel that flicker of connection, no matter how forbidden. For days I caught glimpses of him in the hallway, always surrounded by nurses or patients. We never spoke, but sometimes our eyes met for a second longer than they should have. It was enough to keep me coming back. Then one evening, as the hospital quieted down, I found him alone in the staff lounge, staring at a cup of cold coffee. He looked up when I entered. "You shouldn't be here this late," he said gently. "Neither should you," I replied. He smiled. "Touché." I sat across from him, heart pounding. For a while we just sat there in silence, the hum of the vending machine the only sound. Then he said, almost to himself, "Do you ever think about the things we can't have?" "All the time," I said. He looked at me and the air shifted. Something in his expression broke. The carefully built wall of professionalism, duty, and restraint cracked for just a second. "I tried to forget you," he confessed softly. "I really did. But every time I close my eyes I see you lying there, asking me if it hurts. And I can't stop thinking that it did. It still does." I felt tears sting my eyes. "Then why do we keep pretending it doesn't matter?" "Because if we don't," he said, his voice shaking, "I'll lose everything." That was the first time I understood the weight he carried, not just his career but his conscience, his sense of right and wrong. Loving me meant betraying the oath that defined him. And yet, in that moment, all I wanted was for him to break it. "I don't want to ruin your life," I whispered. He shook his head slowly. "You couldn't. You're the reason I still believe in it." He stood up then, as if afraid of what he might do if he stayed seated any longer. He took a slow breath and walked toward the door. Before leaving, he turned to me. "You deserve someone who can love you without hiding," he said quietly. "Someone free." "Maybe," I said. "But I only ever wanted the one who wasn't." And then he was gone. After that night, I stopped volunteering. I needed distance from him, from that place, from the version of myself that lived for stolen glances and unspoken words. Months passed. Seasons changed. I tried to move on. I went back to work, reconnected with friends, even started dating again. But no one ever felt like him. No one ever looked at me with that mixture of tenderness and restraint that made my heart ache. One day, while cleaning my room, I found the hospital wristband buried in a drawer. I sat there for a long time holding it, remembering everything, the fear, the pain, the warmth of his voice when he said, "You'll be fine." I realized then that maybe the love we shared, however brief, however impossible, had already served its purpose. He had saved my life twice. Once in the operating room, and once in the way he made me believe in living again. And then, just when I thought that chapter was closed forever, I saw him one last time. It was raining, of course it was raining. The universe has a strange sense of poetry. I was leaving a cafe when I noticed someone standing by the bus stop, holding an umbrella, head slightly tilted down. Even from a distance I knew. He saw me too. For a moment neither of us moved. Then he smiled, that same quiet smile that had once meant safety and danger all at once. I walked toward him, my heart racing. "Dr. Lee," I said softly. "Emma," he replied, his voice just as I remembered. "It's been a long time." "Too long," I said. We stood there under the rain, both unsure what to say next. "How are you?" he asked finally. "I'm happy," I lied. He nodded. "Good. And you?" He hesitated. "Still busy. Still trying to save the world one person at a time. Still carrying the weight of it?" I asked gently. He smiled. "Always." There was a pause, one of those silences that say more than words ever could. The world around us blurred. The sound of rain fading into a kind of quiet that felt suspended in time. "I never got to thank you properly," I said. "You don't have to," he replied. "But I want to." He looked at me then, his eyes soft. "You already did, Emma. Every time you smiled at me in that hospital, you thanked me. Every time you fought to live, you thanked me." I swallowed hard. "Do you ever regret us?" He looked down, then back at me. "No, but I think about it. Sometimes at night, I wonder what might have happened if I hadn't been your doctor. If we'd met somewhere else. Maybe in another life." "Maybe in another life," I echoed. The bus arrived. He stepped back, holding his umbrella like a shield. "Take care of yourself," he said. "You too," I whispered. As he walked away, I felt a strange calm settle over me. It wasn't the ache of longing anymore. It was acceptance. Some loves aren't meant to last a lifetime. They're meant to change it. That night, I wrote a letter I never sent. "Dear Dr. Lee, I don't know if you'll ever read this, but I need to say it somewhere. You saved me in ways medicine never could. You showed me that healing isn't just physical. It's learning to open your heart, even when it hurts. You taught me that love doesn't always need a future to be real. Sometimes it just needs a moment. And ours was everything. I folded the letter and placed it inside my journal. And that's where it stayed, like a secret between us and the silence. Years later, I would sometimes walk past that hospital. I'd see new doctors, new patients, and wonder if he was still there, saving lives, drinking cold coffee late at night. Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. But it didn't matter anymore. Because somewhere deep inside, I knew the truth. He healed my body. But maybe I healed his heart too. The truth is, love doesn't always arrive to stay. Sometimes it passes through you like a storm, fierce, devastating, and unforgettable. I used to think I was broken when it ended, but now I know I was simply changed. He taught me that even the forbidden can be pure, that even the briefest connection can echo for a lifetime. So whenever I feel the rain on my skin, I close my eyes and smile, because somewhere under the same sky maybe he remembers too. And that's enough.